All righty, we are back and we have our guests in the house. We have Miss Kimberly Williams,
Mm-hmm.
my childhood friend, and Miss Tinny Lyons in the house.
Tenny
Tinny
lines.
Lyons in the house, which is
You in
also
the,
a
in the,
family
in the
friend.
cookie lines.
No,
Uh-oh.
sir.
No.
It's with an S. People always ask me that.
Oh, so we're getting ready to have this candid conversation. We're speaking on today. What are we
Mhm.
speaking on, Miss Kelsey? What are we going to be talking about?
We're going to be speaking on work, life, COVID, and balance.
Ooh,
Work.
work, life, COVID, and balance.
All right.
Y'all ready for this
Mm,
All right.
conversation?
absolutely.
Because, baby, we need to have a little balance. We need to protect ourselves. Oh, okay. And
Mhm.
we always ask our guests to give us a couple of words.
Before we get started, I want to take a moment, an opportunity to
Okay,
thank,
Brother Carter, who
just to
just
thank
left?
the viewers that tuned into the show. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. We want to thank the many listeners on Raise the Praise 100. We have a lot of people on Raise the Praise 100 that listen to the show, and we want to just say thank you for tuning into the show this
To the
morning.
show.
Okay, then.
All right.
And Miss Tinsley, they can't see you in the camera, so if you can shift down, maybe there.
Maybe you,
You shift a little bit that way,
Hold-
Kim. You good? You shift it.
Sorry.
She really trying to hide herself, but they want to see you. You got a fan base already out here. What? All right.
Me?
Okay. Kim, you gonna be in over there on the board in a minute, but you definitely in. I don't know what's going on over here. Okay, there you go. Now we got you. Okay, then. Did we fix her up over there? All right. Well, we're so excited to have you guys here, and I always ask you guys to give us a couple of words that describe you.
Mhm.
Instead of me reading the words, I'm going to start with Miss Kim. Can you tell me, in your own words, of 3 to 5 words that describe you best?
Yes.
Well,
First of all, good morning.
Okay.
good
Thank
morning,
you guys.
and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me this early Saturday morning.
Yes,
And
yes.
she got emphasis on that. She put emphasis on that. Ooh, Lord.
I only do this for people I love. So I
Okay.
truly love you
Feel
too.
the love, feel the love.
I think, describing me sometimes is hard. Because I've grown so much over the last few years. And so um, low maintenance,
Low maintenance.
Okay.
I like that.
low maintenance, simplicity,
Okay.
um, blessed,
Mm.
and prayerful.
Okay.
I live in those spaces.
In those spaces.
And I keep it real, real simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Okay.
I like that. I like
I really like that.
We need more people like that today. Everybody's so in a
Yeah.
hurry
Absolutely.
in life. And
Absolutely.
people need to just take the time, slow
Slow
down.
down.
And just say,
Oh, down.
and just breathe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Because
that's
it makes things better.
Yeah.
And you're able to see more
More-
clearly.
Yeah.
And appreciate.
And make better decisions.
Come on
Absolutely.
now. All right
Yes.
then.
Yes.
Okay, and
Miss Tenny Lines.
Miss Tenny Lyons over here, who
That's
is
Penny
not
with a T in the front.
and not Miss Cookie Lyons.
And I.E.
And I.E.
Not a Y.
Oh.
Not a Y.
Okay.
See, you don't have to
Okay.
blame.
Where's the name at? I don't
You
know.
on the right, you done flipped
Oh.
it. It is right
Okay.
there.
Anyway,
I
continue.
told you, did I tell you? I'm like, here you go. Give it back to him just like that.
To describe myself, is so much I could say about myself. But right now, pretty much like Kim, I'm in an area right now, era in my life right now where God is always going to help me make my decisions before I walk. But I'm vibrant.
Okay.
I'm independent.
Okay.
And I've heard somewhere not to just say independent, meaning that I am a contractor, but I'm independent in making my decisions.
Mhm.
I'm very humble. I'm humble
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the fact of being invited here. Whenever someone needs me, I'm there.
All right. God bless you.
For the most part, as my background and what I do, I'm a giver.
Mhm.
And I love giving. But most of
We
all,
got any money on you?
There you go.
Not
We're gonna
today.
clarify
I
that.
my dresser for my kids when they need something. I have to put that on, free for them. But I am a giver because that's what I'm supposed to be. But for the most, I am a follower of Jesus Christ,
Amen.
and that's what I want people to see me as and who I am.
All
All
right,
right. God bless you and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
We really are so excited to have both of you on here. And as you guys, if you hadn't figured it out, it's going to be very candid. And there is no telling what's going to come from my left side and y'all front. So we're going to be ready for it, okay?
Before we get started with the thing, I know Miss Kim a little more than what she just expressed
Okay,
here.
well, come on.
And so I just want to just give a few accolades concerning Miss Kim. She is a higher learner. She is an educator, teacher in the Houston Independent School District. She also has 2 children that are in higher learning. And also, the girl is in the WNBA, her daughter, oldest daughter, is in the WNBA. And she has a baby boy son now in the NBA. And so we want to congratulate her.
Thank you.
That's an awesome thing.
They at work. They working. So
they working.
Yeah, they out of my
pocket. Out of the pocket.
Yes, indeed.
That is a great thing. That's a great thing. And your son is playing for
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Yes. Okay. All right.
Well, I appreciate you saying that and bringing that up because as I've said to Kim one-on-one, how proud I am of her. It's so easy for us to just kind of brush past in today. We don't really want to give. I don't know if we don't give praise and give credits to people and parents when we sacrifice a lot for our children. But when our kids are doing something great, we need to go ahead and shout that to the moon.
Right.
And when the parents can sit back and see the fruits of their labor.
Right.
And so Kim, as I said to you privately, I am saying to you publicly, I am so proud of the job you have done raising your children.
Well, thank you.
Not taking anything away from anybody else's,
right?
But I'm saying to you,
thank you. I appreciate that. I do.
She's so humble too about it. It's a lot of people would jump up. Well, I got 2 boys in this.
Yes. She ain't walking around with that.
Yeah.
So God bless you. Let's get the show started.
So we ready to get this show started here. All righty then. Oh Lord, let's talk about that pandemic. Has it been rough?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Or has it changed our lives?
Both.
Okay then. Has it made us grow?
Yes.
Or has it had us kind of step back and really just look at life a little different? So I'm going to start off with just a question to get this conversation going, and anybody at any time can jump in, even our listeners on live streaming. If you have any comments or anything that you want to add, or you can call in. Kelsey is going to put the phone number up for you to call in if you would like to get in this conversation.
They're going to call.
They will. How much of an adjustment was working from home for you? How much of an adjustment? Or did anyone work from home? Did you guys work from home during the pandemic?
Yes.
Okay. So who wants to take that first?
Go ahead.
Okay. It was hard because as Brother Carter indicated, I'm an educator. And so, we don't do school at home.
Right.
And so having to now bring all of our equipment, just one day we were told, take everything home. And we're just going to work from home. And so education is so interactive, and you have to be face to face and engaged with kids really to have an impact. So to sit on a computer, to be at home, there's so many distractions. The garbage truck is running, and you might can run and put some clothes in the washing machine, and you don't have to dress up. And it just took me out of my whole routine. And for a while, I I was struggling. I didn't get a lot of work done.
Did you even know if you had the attention of the children when you were?
Absolutely. And for me at that time, I didn't have students face to face, right? But I still had all these tasks, and the email was popping up and the phone was ringing. I was like, man, I'm at home. Man, nobody is here, so nobody's watching. So I might not have to do none of this.
Not even realize you're on the clock.
Yes. And so that was a major adjustment. And I think I went through a little depression.
Yes.
Because it's hard being, I never left home. It was never anywhere to go.
Yes.
And so that can be very stifling, and it also can be very unsettling. Yeah. So it was difficult for me.
Okay then.
Okay. I'm probably gonna be opposite.
Okay.
It was a blessing. The reason why I say that, because I have also a daughter in education. And at that time, she had just moved here from California after being educator in California for about 5 years. So she had just moved here, and then the pandemic. So when she got the news that she had to work from home or whatever, we just made the whole house her school. She made a billboard, what you call it, a background on my wall. So I was just looking at her. And so being a nurse and a financial advisor at the same time, we were considered essential workers. So most of my part was at home, but it was going to people homes and seeing those, seeing what can we do to help them. At the same time, like I said, I'm a contractor, so I was relieving nurses who had been out there for days and days and days. So I was that relief person. But when I say it was a blessing, a lot of medical field people did other things like businesses. They started building business. A lot of nurses became more entrepreneurs. One of my nurse friends made these ear saver tags, had another one to make a bunch of masks, because a lot of us, some of them were like caseworkers. So they really didn't have a meaning to come to work. So they had to work from home. But at the same time, they were struggling because of the fact, like she said, you didn't know what was the client really listening to you. It's not the same. But at the same time, a lot of people was able to stretch out and broaden what they can do and other things they know how to do. So when I say it was a blessing, because, my daughter didn't know that she's very, what I call techie, but she had all this stuff set up in my house.
Yes. And again, that comes back from the younger generation being very creative and savvy in what they're bringing in. But when I think about school and I think about how it impacted, if I think of school and then I think about myself and business and healthcare, those kids, it was so getting them to have an attention span, especially the younger ones and even some of the older ones in school is one thing. Another thing, getting them to have the understanding and attention span in front of a computer. Where there is no structure. I mean, I just felt like our kids lost so much.
They did
during that time,
and a lot of them went into depression.
Yes.
A lot of them, and then a lot of the parents end up homeschooling their kids after this. They saw that they could just homeschool their kids if they have to, because they were doing it even for the kindergarten. I didn't understand that.
Yes.
The pre-K.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna get a 3-year-old. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the pandemic put a strain on many households.
Absolutely.
Put a strain on many marriages.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people became full-time alcoholics.
Yes.
Amen. That's serious. The first thing me and my cousin was talking about when it first started, is having plenty of beer and alcohol. So, it was we had nowhere to go. We had nothing to do. So I make sure I'm going to the liquor store, make sure I have something.
And I'm going to say this too about kids and the school setting. One of the things that we really noticed and found out was that we were invading people's homes.
Yes.
We had kids who were living in different
Right.
kinds of situations.
Yes.
And we were constantly, we had teachers saying, make sure your cameras are on. But there was some things
that
going
you don't
on
need to
in
see
that
the
house.
background. That's right.
And that was I had a problem with that.
Right.
Make sure your camera is on, make sure your microphone is on. And so, or it was kids woke up and they were still in their pajamas and they came on to the camera. And so we were trying to put a lot of stipulations as if they were at school,
Right.
but these kids were at home and their parents were at home,
Right.
and they were not used to
Exactly.
having people
in their
invade.
home.
There might have been, if I'm a fifth grader, no, I had high school. So if I'm in 10th grade, I might have had siblings that were in elementary school.
Yes.
They're running in the back and everybody, the dog barking.
Yes.
And so that was a very invasive
Yes.
kind of situation. And we learned from that. There were some teachers who were starting to kind of get judgmental.
Yes.
And I was like, hey, wait a minute.
Yes.
We're in these
Their
people's
home.
spaces.
Yes.
And we've got to be very respectful and of that.
And and I think back to my daughter, she had to continue to work from home while her son was in elementary school, and she was the teacher. She was also responsible for making sure that he was tuned in and doing his classwork and and at the same time holding on to her job. And so yes, that was a lot during that time. For me, I think that when I think about myself, thank God it didn't really change a lot of what I was doing, but it opened my eyes to it and opened me up to more possibilities. And so it really helped me to become more centered and more in touch and appreciative of people. Because before I was so methodical, just getting the job done. I became more intentional about relationships and really making sure that I'm reaching out and touching other people. But we became, as a couple, something that has always been important to it. We became closer because our backyard became our sanctuary. And so we would make a conscious decision every day. We're going out to the backyard. We're going out to the backyard. We couldn't go anywhere else, but we could go out there, put our music on, had him on the grill.
I want to apologize on that. I made my wife a full-time alcoholic like me.
Well, hey.
I can't take him there. Well, I did have my cup ready.
But for a lot of households, that was it was a lot of pressure. I talked to a lot of people and they realized they really didn't like each other.
Well, do you remember hearing, because I do, there was also an increase in domestic violence.
Yes.
People women,
yes,
and even maybe men who had already been in those kinds of relationships. Now you're at home.
All day
and
long.
where can you go?
All day long.
Yes. Domestic violence went to an all-time high. Divorce went to an all-time high.
Yep.
And mental distress.
Yes.
Well, I think back to my mother, and she's still kind of she's 86 years old, young, and she literally went into where she was the matriarch of the family, and she every time something was going on, she was there. And then she went, I would say 2 years or so, and we didn't get to see her. Unless and she wouldn't let anyone come in. I was the only one that would really be able to go and visit and check on her, because she was petrified of, rightfully so, that she was going to catch something. And so I know that she went through a depression. I think she's still there. She's just now starting to come out some, a little bit, but it definitely was hard on the seniors.
And once you isolate yourself, it's kind of hard to start coming back out and having relationships with people and stuff like that. Because you've been sitting there by yourself all this time. What am I going to say to these people? How do I look at people now right now? I don't know what to do now. And most people don't even know how to dress after the pandemic.
I'm telling you.
I think they didn't know how to dress before.
You know.
What I mean is,
Bonnets everywhere.
yeah,
Oh
people,
my God.
professional people,
I'm sorry.
they didn't put on clothes anymore.
It changed.
It did.
I mean, because I would walk in my closet and I'd be like, I have all of these things
Yeah.
that I go to work in every day. So, like, when am I ever gonna
Yeah.
put those
put this
on.
back on?
Yeah.
And that was a depressive kind of thing too, because I wanted to put my clothes on.
Yes.
But I certainly wasn't gonna do it. You
Just
might have
sitting in the
a
house.
jacket on and your pajama bottoms.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
you're on the computer.
Yes.
So yeah, it
Yes.
shifted everything.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Okay, the next. I'm sorry. Did you? You were getting ready to say something before I take this conversation. You sure?
No.
Okay. You just have to jump on in here with us because we're gonna keep it going. Did you? And how long did you work remotely when you worked at the beginning of the pandemic? You were working remotely. And how
I
long?
still work both
Okay.
remotely because a lot of things have not everything has not transitioned back.
Mhm.
So I still kind of work remote for the most part. But to say how long, probably for the full 2 years.
Mhm.
But I was still going out.
Okay.
You see, I was both.
Okay.
So if there was a need, I was there. I was going out. And one thing I did realize is that we had to take away that fear.
Yes.
And of course, people didn't like me coming in because I was like, you got to do something different. You can't keep. And I think that's what happened now. Even though COVID is still here,
It's very much.
the hospitals are still full.
Mhm.
But the difference now, the patients are not sicker than what they were,
Right.
because a lot of them took away that fear
Mhm.
of that I'm gonna die. And,
Mhm.
one doctor made it best is that they both have the same thing. The only difference is that this person know they're gonna get out of here, and this person, is feared and thinks that they're just gonna die anyway because they got it.
Do you think it? I didn't mean to cut you off. Do you think getting vaccinated and getting the boosters played a huge part in that? I'm going there. Let's go. You are in.
I don't encourage and I don't discourage vaccination, but what I do is because now there's a whole nother strand. There has been two to three other strands since the vaccine. Okay. So what I do encourage is, and I think this is what happened, the world started living healthier. They started getting their bodies highly protected, building up their vitamins and everything. So, but as far as the vaccine, because the reason why I don't discourage it or encourage it, because everybody can't take it. I have a daughter that has sickle cell trait. She can't take the vaccine, and she was banned from a lot of things that she does, because she didn't take the vaccine.
My Lord.
But she's never had COVID because, she knows she has to stay protected, and she's an educator. And she went back to school and she was doing both the online and live classes at the same time. Like, I don't know how y'all do that, educators, but she did it and she's still doing it. But at the same time, everybody can't take the vaccine. But when you're pushing it, that was a lot of stress. That was a lot of stress in the hospitals. You had a slew of people that quit or a slew that got fired simply because they did not take the vaccine.
Well, you have to agree, something has changed though, because people are not dying like they did when it first started. So
it could be the vaccine.
Something must have happened.
It could be because they have changed the way they're eating. They have increased their vitamins intake. They have built their immune system. Okay. So it's a give or take, because some people even got it after they got the vaccine.
Well, I have and y'all know I'm opinionated. That's why it's the Love and Victory Show with Val. I personally, and again, not pushing anyone to do it one way or the other. And I do agree with people with modality. There are reasons that they cannot take it. But I am one that is an advocate for it because I've seen the other side of it. I know the other side of how many people that were not vaccinated that we did lose. I I believe that get educated about what
Exactly.
you're getting. I mean, it's no different than when we had to go and get get our boosters or get our shots to go to school. And when I hear people fight or have this, well, I don't know what's in it. That argument, I don't know what's in it, so I'm not going to take it. I almost want to scream because did you know what was in it when you had to go and get your booster, or when the kids had to go to college, the measles and the chicken mumps and all of that? No, you did that, and you took your kids there so that they can go to school. And so I'm not here to, and I 100%. I know it's hard. I know it's depressing, and I'm with you on that. She has sickle cell. She can't. 100%. You know, I have a sister that is also has some modality that keeps her from being able to. But I do think because we have more people that have been vaccinated and have had the boosters, it definitely has reduced the impact of the death of so many people dying and getting very, very sick.
I think for me, it was that word that you used, fear, because in the beginning we just saw so many people dying. And it was like, dang, every day. And it was on
Hundreds.
TV. I mean,
thousands.
everybody,
Yes.
if they were sick, they were just dying. And I took a different approach to it because I got COVID in the very early stages, back before the vaccine.
Okay.
And I was sick.
Yes.
And I was sick. And that was such a terrifying feeling because not only was I sick, I had to be isolated. So nobody, you know, my sister and my brothers, they were bringing food and dropping it off at the door, you know, and I'm peeping out. And I used to think this. Now, you know, what happens if I get really sick in here by myself and I can't call somebody? I don't know how this thing is going to affect my body. And nobody, you know, I started giving out house keys, you know, where I have, y'all got to be able to get in here. And so the vaccination, I think, from the many deaths that we saw, I think being educators, if you want to get sick, go to school. Because when kids come to school, the germs come to school with them. And you can catch any, if it's something to catch, you can catch it at a school. So I think so many deaths, and then people were sick, and that feeling of having COVID before there was even a vaccination. Like I seriously, I said, well, nah, I got COVID. And when the lady told me, she thought I had the flu. And when she said I had COVID, I promise you, I went into a panic.
That's like hearing you got cancer.
And it was like a death sentence. Like, how much time do I have? And then I couldn't go stay. So I think for me, when the vaccination became available, like I was the first one in line because I didn't want to have that feeling, and the vaccination was better than not having anything to protect yourself against that. So I think it's a personal choice, but that fear drove a lot of it.
And I do think that a lack of so much fear has helped. And I agree
the
with
lack
you
of
too.
fear and the more educated
we become.
Not just with the vaccine, but of course,
How to take care
because
of
in the hospital, they're not just giving you a vaccine or some fluids. They are giving you some of my nurse friends started infusions with a high dose of vitamin C bags. That is the drug that is actually what they were doing in the hospital. They're giving them high doses of vitamin bags. We call them banana bags because they look yellow when you get them. So, and don't quote me, but at the same time, one thing I did not like about the vaccine, not the fact that people were getting it or whatever, because to me it caused some type of discrimination. I like you because you got this. I like you. So
a division.
It made a whole nother division. And I'm like, really? Because like you said, in childhood we had to get vaccine, but I was that child that couldn't get vaccine. But I had the chicken pox, I had measles, I had the Lyme disease. But I was that child that was highly had allergies. So my mom, I guess at the time, feared it, but that was a long time ago. We ain't gonna state ages. But anyway,
that's right.
So, but now with scientists and everything has been made better.
Yes.
But at the same time, there caused a division.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because you got this, so you could stay here. You got the even into the churches. Because you got vaccinated, you could come and you could participate with this.
Right.
But at the same time, those who got vaccinated, like I said, they even got COVID again. It may have not been as bad.
Right.
It may have not. But then you got some that hadn't had the vaccine. But they have not gotten COVID. So to me, just like anything else, you have to love as is, give people their rights. Same with this abortion rights. Give people their rights. Don't discriminate against them.
The truth of the matter is,
Don't
discriminatory is going to be there.
It is.
It's going to be there.
It is.
Because it's all based on fear.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, discrimination is just based on pure, unadulterated fear.
That's true.
The white man feared the black man for such a long time. He had this racism came about, you know, so it just based on fear. But go ahead.
Okay, and honestly, everything that divides us is always based on a fear of the unknown. And I think that even now you still have that. When you hear, just think about it. When you see somebody or you hear someone coughing, the first thing you turn around and you look, you got COVID. But I do think that we have to become more coronavirus. We have to become more respectful to one another. And when we are doing it, especially when we have experienced discrimination amongst ourselves as a people, how dare you sit up and discriminate against someone else because they do or they don't?
If you do cough, though, you do need to. You need to be turning your head or something. Don't be coughing
or wear your mask.
100%. You know, I do. I have to say,
wear your mask.
We got some great comments coming in here, but I know Kelsey is going to take us in. Kelsey, go ahead and share the comments, and then I'm going to come back.
I'm going to go back because I know they wanted to want me to say these comments.
Okay.
Joya Bradley said, "Hey, Miss Tenny, how you doing?"
Hi, Joya.
Aisha B, she said, "Brooklyn Nets, of course, congrats."
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And Foxy Brown said, "Build up your immune system to help fight against the virus." Ebony Guillory said, "Please, everyone, please take your vitamins. Both my husband and I are vaccinated. He had COVID before the vaccine and 2 additional times after the vaccine." And then we have a comment from Anthony Alexander. "Immune compromised people are like myself, have to constantly be careful even before COVID. I have been masked up before COVID and my family for their dad and grandfather." Ebony also stated, "My bout with COVID after the vaccine was scary, but I feel like the vaccine helped me. My symptoms were bad, but thankfully they only lasted a week."
Yes. And I again, that goes back to thank you everybody for your comments.
And there's many more comments, but we can't read them all.
Well, I like the fact because there is a good balance there. You know, one of the biggest thing is that when we're having this conversation, you got to hear the other side. You can't. I appreciate your position so much because a lot of times you just, she's not taking the vaccine. Something's wrong with her. What's up with it? She can't think. No, it's a whole reason. It's a whole reason.
And it's not your business.
It's not.
I'm
No,
sorry.
No, but it's supposed to. I don't have to explain everything to you, but I can be respectful to your decision, and you can be respectful to mine. This COVID conversation, I think, is definitely a conversation that is an ongoing conversation that is needed. But I want to kind of turn it a little bit to, we kind of hit on it early on about the people being depressed and isolating away. And I really want to talk about that. And I see how it's affecting the younger generation. I also see how it's affecting the older generation. But let's go to these babies that are getting ready to go back into school. And let's talk about when they came back into school last year. How did that impact them? How did it impact the teachers? And then what are we to look for? What are the parents to look forward to this year now that they've been back in school for a year?
And not only you got to deal with the pandemic, they dealing with being shot in school.
Yes,
these different
yes,
things like
yes.
that.
It's
So,
a lot. You know, when we came back to school, we had these plastic shields up around desks. It was so intrusive and invasive that then you didn't want to be back at school. I'd rather be back at home. Classrooms were not equipped. You know, they brought in hand sanitizer and you could clean things and what filtration systems in some of these schools, they just weren't equipped. So there still was an amount of fear. Kids were coming back to school because they had been in the pajama phase. So they thought coming to school
in their pajamas.
But not just the kids. We had teachers too.
Adults in pajamas?
Well, what looked like pajamas. Because everybody got into the relax. I've been at home. So now I'm good. But there was still a heightened awareness. And I think I spoke about this a little bit during the break. Having had COVID prior to the vaccine gave me a heightened awareness of it. And I did have issues with being around people because I never want to be that sick ever. And so without understanding, we didn't know. Now these kids are back. You know, we were trying to get them. We spent so much time trying to get them to wash their hands and make sure make sure the mask is up. And now they're trying to talk and the mask is on, which caused some issues. And so that was almost another layer of golly, what are we doing? And so now we've brought them back to school. We've moved into, everybody has relaxed, schools now. We still have, the little hand sanitizer, but we've taken down the plastic shields. They're back in school. But when kids came back to school, kids and teachers, people were still getting sick and they were having to go home. And so bringing them back in was also a transition. We're still trying to learn how to cope in this space, because it is trying to be around people. It changes your train of thought.
Okay then.
And
just you can jump in.
How many people came back to school? How many did not come back?
Oh, we had quite a few.
They didn't come back.
That didn't come back.
Some school districts didn't even shut down.
Yeah.
Really?
I have it's me and one of my other sisters that are nurses, but at the most part, most of my family are educators. I have a sister that's in the Port Arthur area, and I have a sister in Katy. Katy them didn't never shut down.
Really? Katy?
Katy, yeah,
they shut down, but they didn't, do all that.
Yes, they did. My daughter, that's what my grandkids, they stayed in school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're not in the school. They were at home.
Yes, but it was a
choice. It was a choice. That's correct.
I'm talking about the teachers.
The teachers, they still kept going. You're right.
Keep going. So of course
that was
the shield.
Yes.
I told my sister keep the blue Lysol spray.
Yeah.
All that fruity mint and lemon. No, the blue can.
The blue can.
And still today, the blue can.
The blue
spray in, out, see every spray.
But you know what? I'm gonna say,
it's hard.
Man, that was so exhausting. Somebody would come in and they would sit down, and as soon as they get up, you got to go time. And it was like, God, and you just couldn't work. We lost so much.
The kids couldn't touch it because of the possibility of being poisoned with it. So I told her to do the spray. You don't have to do the wiping. You do the spray, let it dry. It's sanitized. But at the same time, they really still had to go
into school.
Into the school.
They did.
Especially in a lot of the country towns, they were going to school. My mom, even though she's 81, she was still going. and I quote unquote, that is something she loves to do because she does not have to be going back to work.
Right. You have to love it
You
at
got
81.
to love it.
Yeah.
She is. You got to love it.
She go and do a little substitute, and she'll tell it, I got this mask, got that mask. Honey, I got to go for them babies, and she did the 4-year-old.
She went right into it with them little ones.
Yes, yeah.
And
And so
you have to feel sorry for a lot of the students in school when the pandemic hit, because a lot of the students depended on that meal that
Yes.
they received.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
So
you got to wonder how that affected them.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Yeah.
a lot of households that
Yeah.
couldn't.
because they depended not only on that meal.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of history as a nurse. I was a school nurse at one point when my kids were younger. They're all grown. They're 22 and above.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 of them. As a school nurse, not only they depend on that breakfast and that lunch, we had the backpack kids. So we even packed them something in a backpack to where they took it home with them
To eat.
Wow.
So my whole thing when this happened, I was going to myself was going and deliver different foods. I didn't know who it was, but I just knew the area. So I was loading food. People was giving me stuff, and I would just go put food on people's doorsteps or whatever, where I know that a lot of those kids, you know, when I was a school nurse, they depended totally to be fed. And that's why, especially HISD came up with that feed them year round during the summer. And then at the parks, they made them bags and they can go to the parks like Alpha Parker and what's the park?
There's certain areas of town.
In certain areas, they can go to those community centers and they had food there for them to pick up a bag or whatever. You saw some of the HISD buses going to those areas and giving them snacks, and it was healthy snacks, delivering food to them. To these kids, and
They did.
Oh yeah. So they did a lot, but it was.
Did anybody have anyone that they lost due to COVID during that time, or any kids who did not? Okay,
I did not have anyone that was lost, but just someone who was affected by
that was
it.
affected.
And other than, you know, the people who died in the hospital.
Yeah.
Do you think that with the COVID, we are now handling things differently, meaning that our interactions with people, our conversations with people, and just dealing with life in general since COVID? Do you think that that's changed?
Yeah.
For
and
sure.
how has that changed?
For sure. I'm very particular about where I go. I don't go in places in large crowds. I just don't. Now, if I do have to, I only go if I have to. And when I have to, I wear a mask. If I'm on the airplane, I wear a mask. But for the most part, I won't go.
Double it. There you go.
Baby, you got to be in large crowds. You that boy in the NBA.
We were in the in Las Vegas in the summer league, and I would find a spot that I go to the top.
That's why I didn't see y'all. Looking for you.
I wasn't trying to be on TV. You won't find me. I was trying to be safe. I was trying, and I did. I did not stay. I didn't stay the entire time. I went to that one game and then I left. So I'm very, my backyard too became my sanctuary. And during COVID, everything that I wanted to do, I made sure it was at my house. And I got so used to that, that I'm comfortable in that space. I also know how irresponsible people can be now, because now everybody thinks
it's okay.
You know, it's okay to just be around and you see them still being careless. So I am very particular about going into spaces and having people in my space. I get in
and I get out.
And I get out. Yeah.
And, you know, because I'm a natural hugger, lover. I'm a natural at that, you know.
Yeah.
And that changed things.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
You know, for me.
Okay, mask up.
You know?
You know, for me, I think about that because I am a person that really love to embrace and hug, but I travel a lot, so it really has changed for me. I travel twice a month. I'm going somewhere. I'm on the plane, And one of the things for me, it is very important that I mask up.
Mhm.
And I try to make sure when I'm booking my flights.
Well, you haven't rode coach since the pandemic.
I sure,
Mhm.
I sure haven't,
Mhm.
and it's a blessing too, because I
Mhm.
try to get where I'm not in the back of the plane or
Mhm.
I'm all because it's so small.
Mhm.
And then you have it, and I love to get on the plane where they have the one side and you don't have the other. So I get
Yeah.
on that one side, and you just I've learned that you kind of have to do things a little different.
Differently, yeah.
And the other thing is, I test myself
Mhm.
because now, as much as I am going,
Mhm.
I don't want to bring anything back to my family.
That's right.
So my frequency and my staff.
Right.
So my frequency of getting tested, doing my COVID test to
Mhm.
make sure that I'm not walking around here
Mhm.
infecting everybody.
Right.
Is so
you can be a carrier.
yes,
Absolutely.
And that's why I was saying when I came in with my mask on, because I am around a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And not to cut you off, but a lot of the things that has changed is that even looking at the medical field, they have found ways that they saw was not really working.
Mm-hmm.
And they've changed that. So like I said, the people are still in the hospital. The hospitals are still full.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of immediately putting them on a ventilator, they're using high flow oxygen, simply because they saw that the positive pressure was really harming the clients, the patients, instead of helping them
Mm-hmm.
from the ventilators. But however, they're using high flow oxygen, so that's why the people are really turning around and coming out of there, getting better quicker, or not dying. Even though people are dying, they die from a lot of stuff. So we just don't hear all the statistics out there. And then the other thing that needs to go back into gear while y'all talking about flying and all that, the airlines need to go back to doing what they were doing during COVID, because they're not sanitizing those planes anymore. Like
No,
they were.
they're definitely
They're not wiping them down.
They're
so
not.
I recommend everybody take you some
Absolutely.
alcohol
Yes.
wipes or
Yes,
something,
and
or
wipe
your
it
seat,
down.
wipe your, because they're not doing that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people back flying, and it's still, they're coming back with COVID just from flying or just from traveling. And I don't mind large crowds. If I'm the only one in that large crowd, I'm the only one with a mask on. And they be looking at me, me and my daughter, and all of us, we look crazy because we're still having our mask on. And not only that, we got a little can. It's smaller than that blue one. We spraying our our little area that we're in.
Keep Lysol.
So
I keep Lysol with me all the time.
So a lot has changed, but we need to not lack, and that's what's happening.
Well, when you walk around with your mask on, you look like you have COVID or something now. So you supposed to have COVID or something. You walk around with a mask on. I'm just saying.
Because sometimes people I don't walk outside with it.
No, that's how some people.
But that's what some people think. But I tell people you still gotta breathe. So when you get outside, take the mask down. But if you see us in the car with the windows up and some people with the mask on, it's because we've been with it on all day in the hospital. That's probably one of us. With our mask still on.
I see people riding by the
only person in the car.
Only one in the car. They got a mask.
That could be a medical person. I'm just saying.
Well, I think that what, baby, that do kind of look crazy. You ain't nobody in there but you, and you got
nobody in the
they
car.
walking down the sidewalk.
And we have to also be smart. The mask that you're wearing is to protect me. When I put a mask on, I'm protecting you. So a lot of times, we want to say, look at her with that mask on. Or I'm putting a mask on. I'm going into this place, and that you're thinking you're protecting yourself. You're still exposed because if I don't care enough about you to put a mask on, then you get what I'm saying, and that's why you have to, your mind and how you live and how you move has to change. You say you go where it's not a large crowd, or you go to the top where you don't have people around you. You just have to think about those things because you're there.
And
get your hand sanitizer. Keep your hand sanitizer on.
This was even before COVID. Every time, I guess in the medical field, you get in the car, because especially I had babies. I had young kids, in my earlier years of nursing. So even before I got in my car, I would sanitize my hand and the steering wheel. So sanitizer has always been around. It didn't just get here.
It ain't just get here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask
It
this
just
question.
get
Do you think? Well, actually, no. I guess I'll ask this question. Being alone, um, and I'm still going there because there are still so many people that are isolated,
Mhm.
that are not being alone. COVID has kind of made us all isolate.
Mhm.
What are you doing to help some of the people that are friends or maybe family members that are still isolating away? How are we contacting? Are you reaching out? Or do you want that for yourself?
Well, you, let me
Good
just
question.
say, I'm living by myself
Mm-hmm.
and having gone through the pandemic, and it was isolating. It also gave me some time to just really kind of focus in on
Evaluate
me.
yourself.
And guess what?
Yes.
I can live alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without thinking that people always have to be around me to
Mhm.
entertain me or to feel good or whatever.
Mhm.
I think that's a thing that we miss.
Mhm.
And through the pandemic, there are people who are still isolated. I have friends that are still in that space and trying to reach out. And there are people, like yourself. There are
Mhm.
people who reach out to me, but I think we have to make sure and be clear where people are,
And
and
respect
not
that
say, "Oh, he's alone or she's alone." We need to make that's maybe not a good thing. I think in understanding sometimes a part of this pandemic in that isolation, just as it gave couples an opportunity to reevaluate themselves, it gave people who are single that same opportunity.
I agree.
Yes, yes.
Can I ask you something?
Uh-huh.
In October, I'm come to understand that class of 1982 is happening.
Yeah.
Of
Big
which you are
shout
an
out-
honorary member.
Shout out to the class of 82.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was how will you conduct yourself with this? Are you going to the reunion?
I am.
And if so, how do you foresee this taking place?
I'm gonna go, and again, I'm gonna always be in a space because the one thing that I've learned more than anything in the pandemic is that I'm gonna always take care of me first.
All
Now,
right.
how somebody else responds to that's on them.
Oh.
But I just know
Yeah.
what's gonna be best for me. So yeah, I'm excited about the reunion. I am gonna go. And I'm going to conduct and carry myself. I'm going to case the joint out and see how it is. If I need to mask up sometimes, I'm going to do that. I may not, hug and embrace as much as I do.
Yeah. But you're the class president. Everyone's gonna want to hug
I
you.
know, and we can elbow bump and fist bump. We can do, we can do a lot of things. Because hey, I mean, and we have to think about this too. As we've gotten older, we were talking about immune systems and all of that.
Right.
We're not as much. We're still spring chickens.
Yes.
But we have to take care of ourselves just a little bit.
We're just not as immune.
Absolutely, we got to.
As we once were.
Yeah, we got to do all of that. So I think for that, for those reasons, I just usually try to make sure if I feel comfortable in a situation, I'm going to jump all in. If I know I need to protect myself, by all means, that's going to be the first order of business.
All right.
And I'm glad. Go ahead.
sorry.
You go ahead. I'll let you go.
And
then
like
I'll
I
come back.
said earlier, because you when you asked a question about being, we're all, that's a whole nother conversation, y'all, that we're all single. Even though we're couples, we still have our singleness.
Yes.
You still have your individual. And like I was saying earlier, that the COVID brought around a blessings. So like she said, it helps us, it helped me or help more people to see who they are.
Right.
And what is their real purpose.
Yes.
Of being here. So, I was, at first I was, saying that I was told that, well, you can't work from home and blah, 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 blah. So what God showed everybody, he shut down the whole thing and showed it, yes, you can work from home and still make money and still live and still be able to survive. You just have to show people, and I think that's what the pandemic showed people, that okay, this is your true purpose. This is what you can do, and this is what you cannot do. And I feel like everybody have some type of singleness, whether you're a couple or really by yourself or what have you. But like she said, I'm going to all my reunions. I got a 30-year for nursing. I have a 35-year for I'm not telling my age.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's
For
okay.
high school.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you're amongst
we
those
made it.
that are greater than that.
It's our 40th
yeah,
class
I'm about to
reunion.
say, I have a sister about to celebrate her. She graduated in 80.
Yes.
So, I mean, to me, like she said, you got to just be mindful.
Right.
Go in there, don't, because a lot of people they're going to lie. They're going to lie about, I did this, I did that. But I'm going to still wear my mask. I'm still going to have my sanitizer and my little spray.
Well, I think that this pandemic really has brought us to a place where we really have had to really look within ourselves, get to know ourselves, and really appreciate ourselves. I'm still struggling with finding that peace, that who they are, that balance. And I do believe that out of this pandemic, some great things have happened.
Right.
And I think one of the most important things, God has shown us that we are resilient people, and that we are capable to do far more than just this.
Right.
When the world shut down,
a bigger person.
when the world shut down, it shut down.
It shut down.
He still showed us that people started up businesses. They took their business to new heights. Where restaurants were used to people coming in, they figured out how to keep their doors open by having people come and pick up. I do think that the one thing that the pandemic has done for me that I'm so grateful for, it has allowed me to know that all things, the true meaning of all things are possible.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I've been able to really look within myself. There are
Right.
things I used to struggle with privately,
Right.
that I literally, we put a mask on. With the pandemic, I took that mask off. I don't hide. I don't struggle with things about me personally inward anymore. I've become an open book, because who are you to judge me?
Walk in your newness.
What you think about me ain't none of my business.
I really don't
That's
care.
too hard to say.
And one of the things that I've also had to do, and I really hope that people can do this. Take your relationships with your friends and family serious. Meet them where they're at. It's not worth it for me to close my eyes and have some animosity towards someone. Kim, I gotta say this here. Kim, who is a friend and who has been a friend of mine, girl, 30-something years. I couldn't imagine closing my eyes and having unresolved matter. We waste time, with my sister, who has been my sister my entire life. And when I'm gone, she's still going to be. I'm not sitting around here holding that on. So it only hurts you.
That's the only one.
It only hurts you.
Because the other person going on about their business, don't even know it's a problem.
Yes. And so I think the pandemic has given us a chance to really look at ourselves and really be open to the other side and start having conversations. And that's what the Love and Victory Show is about. And it's not just a platform for, I think we've learned a lot. We really have. And so I'm just grateful to God that he gave us this. Kelsey, how are you feeling about what has the pandemic done for you? You've been quiet over there.
Yeah, I was wondering, but asking you. For me, the pandemic, when it first started, I actually liked it because I was learning more about myself. I was home. I was isolated. I was doing things that I used to do as a child. Started taking out the old video games, playing the Wii, bonding with my siblings. That was fun because we're all in the house together. And it was just, if you're people that comes around my family know that they always say that we need our own show because we're just entertaining. But for the first time, like being home with my family, I was like, wow, we actually are crazy.
But in a good way.
It's always something. So, but then once we started getting deeper into the pandemic, it did start getting a little depressing for me. Some of my classmates, one of them did, some passed away, and that was sad. And just dealing with this difference, this huge change in life was a total.
It was a total.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you doing differently now? What has changed? What's different with you now as a person, as a college soon to be graduate? PV. Panther.
What's changed now? I'm really busy. I'm on go. I'm doing.
That girl say she on go.
I'm still taking summer classes right now. I'm trying to get out of school. I love PV. Don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to graduate. I know for you. I'm growing into who I see, who I've dreamed of as a child. I'm starting to see that person.
You're seeing that person manifest.
I'm seeing her. So.
Good. Right.
Good. That's good. That's good.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Brother Carter,
Well,
I'm turning to you.
come on. What you talking about?
What has the COVID done for you, or has it done anything?
Well, Brother Carter, the COVID ain't. I told you earlier.
Full-time
I was a part-time alcoholic.
Card carrying member. Chuck.
Who your best friends have? Jose Blanco. Which one?
Well, and my best friend and my vaccine is called cognac.
There you go.
So if
There
you
you go.
ever want to get me some vaccine,
There you go.
you go to the cognac section, and I will not complain.
The darker light.
The darker light, baby.
Oh, the cognac is dark.
Gotta be dark.
Gotta be dark. All right.
What we gonna do with him?
All right.
Kelsey, I know you have a bill to pay.
I want to say,
wait.
I want to say after that, I want to say hello to all my brothers over at Lily Grove Missionary Baptist Church.
Back that up with that.
Because you know you got one too, huh? Oh, Lord, take us out of here before we get in trouble. Ooh, Lord, and play that disclaimer.
Man, we having a wonderful show today, and we just want to thank our listeners once more and again for tuning in to the show. Thank y'all, Kim. Thank you, Lanita, Barbara, Foxy Brown, and the rest of you. Ebony, Anthony, wow. The list go on and on and on. All right, so thank y'all for viewing the show.
We're not going to let you just move. No, I'm going to let you go. But you said you've come up with your own vaccine, and it's called...
Well, we're going to go back to that?
Yeah, you left with that, and it was a whole conversation off camera. But you said
off the head on
but Brother Carter, you want to be petty and holler out at Lily Grove, but we're gonna be petty and come back to you because you came up with your own vaccine and said your vaccine is called what? Cognac.
Cognac, yes.
Okay.
There you go.
And then we have
you need to put a handle on it. Maybe you can call it Hennessy. You can call it, let you know what the cognacs are.
There you go.
Can purchase on my behalf.
There you go.
Remy Martin, you know. And if you want to get really upscale with it, it's called a Remy Martin XO.
Okay.
You know, the XO. You can get that also.
And if
it's
they
a
get
very,
that,
very good vaccine.
That's a vaccine.
Yeah. But if you're low budget, they got one called Claude. You got to get a Claude for about $20. You can get a bottle of Claude.
And they will not have to worry about the COVID.
COVID, it'll chase it away.
Dr. Fauci didn't tell us about that, but thank you, Brother Carter, for that update.
Y'all got that for free.
So again, so now he is an unlicensed therapist. He's an unlicensed counselor. He's an unlicensed minister. Now he's an unlicensed doctor. So we will make sure, please, that is Brother Carter's unlicensed education or treatment for COVID.
So to my friends on Raise the Praise 100 radio that are listening, if you want to chime into this conversation, you guys can easily call us at 346-355-0100. I know y'all know the number because you're with Raise the Praise 100.
Right.
All
And
right.
you know the number. So give us a call and let us know what you think about the conversation that's taking place today. Amen.
Where are we going with this now? What
All right. What you got going? Back to our host, Val.
Oh, you see how you threw that right back at? That was a curveball in it.
Mhm.
That's okay. I'm gonna catch it.
All right.
All righty. So now we've talked about the kids going back to school. We've talked about being in the house and the present. We've talked about the older generation. We've talked about how we have to mask up.
Mhm.
I want to talk about how are we going to continue to elevate our professional lives, and what can we do for those that are not able, the essential workers that are not wanting to come back to work. They've come back to work, but they're not wanting to do the fast foods. They're not wanting to, and it's hard to get
Mhm.
people to work. What are some of the things that you guys think that it's easy for them to do to start up a business? Or is there any options out there for people starting up new business?
I think as far as that's concerned, you getting a free check to sit at home.
A free check.
Yeah, if you're sitting at home getting a check, it's gonna be hard to go out and.
But I
Say,
don't think they're
want to
giving
work.
those checks anymore.
You don't think?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think they're
No.
getting those checks no more. You
Yeah.
either the unemployment is cut off,
Yeah.
you know,
Most of
and
those
you
things.
matter of fact now the employers are not obligated if you don't have benefit coverage like time off
Mhm.
available because you got COVID, you get sick.
No.
It's just like anything else.
You gotta come back in
You got to
5
come back.
days.
You got to come back
That's
in
why
5
they
days.
breaking in homes and stuff like that more often now.
Well, it's even in HISD.
Yeah.
You know, when COVID first started, if we were affected by COVID, they gave us 14 days.
Mhm.
You could stay at home for 14 paid
Paid
days,
days.
right?
Mhm.
So then it
Don't
went
exist no
down,
more.
right? Then it went down to 10.
10 days.
Okay. Then it went down to 5.
Mhm.
And so now when this school year starts, there is no more COVID pay time.
Mhm.
If you get COVID,
Yeah.
it's just like anything
Yeah,
else.
use
You'll
your
use
sick
your
time.
sick
Your
time
sick time.
to be able to use that.
Wow.
And
And it's sad that I understand why, but this is what happened. A lot of people took advantage of it.
Yes.
yeah,
And they ruined it for those who really needed those days.
right.
But what they're looking at is the CDC, which is Control Disease Center.
Mhm.
So they're saying overall that in 5 days, everyone is okay to return to work without
Mhm.
even proof that they're now negative.
Mm-hmm.
So that
They
is,
say what they say is that you can return with a negative no symptoms. You can't have symptoms.
you can't have symptoms.
Yes.
But you used to have to come back with
proof.
Mhm.
that you had a negative test.
But they have to have, if you haven't had symptoms within 5 days, then you can come back with a mask on, which is still exposing other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I personally, it's my personal
Mhm.
opinion. I think you need, if you told me that you have COVID, please come back with a negative result. You know, because I think you have to keep in mind you still have a responsibility
Right.
to.
Mhm.
And I think
Employees.
I think it's tough for employers there to not discriminating against anyone, but how could I know that you have been tested positive for COVID and then bring you back in 5 days and then
And
expose?
I don't know.
If
Right.
you're clear and then you expose.
And it has caused a major. It's always a critical shortage in nursing, but it's overall now a major critical shortage.
Mhm.
Simply because a lot of them have chose not to come back, and a lot of them have chose to just quit and do something else. Like I said, a lot of them started businesses and stuff,
Mhm.
all kind of businesses they have been
Mhm.
starting, and then a lot of them don't have that time to be off. Then a lot of the hospitals, a lot of places have let go a lot of people because they chose not to get the vaccine. So now, being a contract nurse, I can go on the site right now and it's all kind of positions opens. Like, I look at HISD where there's 900 plus positions in this area and then 200 and something in this area just in the school district.
Mhm.
But you can look in
It's across the board.
Across the board.
Yeah.
United States, where you could look on the a medical
Monsters,
center,
yeah.
where I'm trying to think of where this state is, but anyway, it's a state right now. They get ready to do a strike, but not getting ready. They're in strike, so they have like 1,700 positions opened.
Well, I think
In
a lot of
one
that.
place.
I think a lot of that too, and I really want to go back to what we can do to help people that are unwilling to come back into the normal work force. What are some of the things that they can do to get out there and start a business? You said that some people did.
Well, that's
did
when
the
your
thing.
purpose come in. If you know your purpose and know, like my purpose or my gift or whatever is giving and caring about people at any capacity. So my line of business that I do outside of nursing is a financial advisor, which is also essential, simply because people still needed that guidance as they, even when they were sick, they still needed that guidance in the financial area. So that was not only but it was also helping people, especially my nurse friends, realize that, hey, I probably don't have enough money by the time I retire. So some of them got realistic and went either back to work, or they started some other type of line of business to feed into their retirement, because they see that 401k that they have is not going to last them a long time. So that I help people be enlightened that, hey, if you can't do this, you're going to have to do this. So, of course, financial services is always open for people to do that. And then a lot of people, if you look at any line of medical, any line, so meaning that like the mask shortage, people went into making them making them available. Like my girlfriend,
Well,
her masks are in the stores.
Well, that's one of the things that Miss Kim did too.
Yeah.
She has a very successful mask line.
I did it as a really
Therapy.
listen, because I didn't have anything else to do, and guess what? I didn't even know how to sew.
Mm-hmm.
I was at home so much. I bought a sewing machine and I went on YouTube. My mother would be smiling because she tried to teach me how to sew so long ago, and to know that I could do it now, she would be so proud. I finally did it, Mom. But I'm gonna say this: I think we have to be careful too with businesses.
Yes.
It's a trend that I see a lot of young people. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
That is probably one of the hardest things to do, because you have to be able to, you have to be on that job 24/7, because it's your way of working. You have to figure out how to get benefits for yourself, and so all of those things come at a cost. And I think it has led our young people to this. I'm not gonna go and work on a job where there might be some structure, where I may be able to have some consistency. I'm just gonna, if an idea pops in my mind, I'm just gonna go. And now because I don't think they can work for people.
Right.
And if you can't work for somebody, you can't own a business
because you haven't even learned work ethics.
You have not. And so I think too, through this pandemic, it afforded people the opportunity, even me, I haven't made a lot of masks in a while, but when I was doing that, that was like
but you found your gift that your mama tried to tell you.
I don't and I don't know that I was creative. I think my gift really is being creative, and that was something that I could do. However, when it was time to go back to work,
you was ready.
I knew that I needed to go back to work. That sewing machine could not, it cannot sustain my lifestyle.
And that's another thing people have to be aware of. You got to be able to adjust to the ups and downs.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But there's going to be some good days and there's going to be some bad days.
Absolutely.
And how do you substitute?
Absolutely.
And balance things in the
and
midst
so
of that?
I think one of the things in answering your question is I don't know if somebody is going into entrepreneurship. I think there's just a lot of training and support and the realistic part of that.
Mhm.
I saw young people, everybody was making t-shirts.
Oh, God.
Everybody got into that kind of thing. And it's fine, but then there's sometimes when we can oversaturate something. And then now, if you're making t-shirts and you are, well, when Kelsey needs a t-shirt, I mean, she has a lot of opportunities out there, which now limits and narrows. I think, especially for young people, I go back to this all the time. I think it all begins and ends with education.
Yes.
How do we allow and afford these young people, especially young people, because that's who I see affected. They don't know how to work.
Right.
I'm almost afraid to eat out.
Yes.
Because they throwing your food any kind of way.
Right.
They bringing it any kind of way. If I had a real big issue at a Sonic, just a real short, quick. I wanted a cherry limeade, and on the picture, it says it's gonna be a lime wedge and a cherry. Now, doggone it, when I get my cherry limeade, that's what I expect my cherry limeade to look like that.
But there's a shortage on the line.
No, not in this case. Not in this case. The kids making the drink didn't
Oh,
put.
Kelsey for to come with that. Look, she come. Look, she pulled the mic over.
Come on, Kelsey.
No, I'm agree with you. Not gonna lie, this generation, like when it comes to working, like they don't really like.
And
if there's no lime, communicate that to them. There's no limes or something like that. But I can't even. I'm sorry, I can't even vouch for them.
Yeah, because the little kid told me, well, I didn't know it. I didn't think it was that important to put the lime in there. And so I was like, well, sweetheart, what I want you to know is when I drive up, I don't see you.
Right.
I see
Your
the advertisement of what this drink looks like. And as you can see, this is what it should contain. So when it gets to me, I want it to look like that.
I like that. That's a great example. So can you tell us, Kelsey, because you are of this generation, can you tell me what is it about this generation that, and how do you view entrepreneurship? Would you agree that
just working period?
A working period. Let's talk about
honestly,
that.
Truthfully, I can say that this generation, we were raised like in a way to we know our worth.
You know your worth.
We know our worth. So like when we go to work, we're like being told what to do. Like we don't want to do that anymore. Like we want to start our own thing. I could be a business. I could be an entrepreneur, which is true. Like everybody is jumping into that.
Yes.
But you can't just jump straight head on into it. You gotta actually think about what people want. Not try to sell everything that everybody else is selling. Everybody's doing lashes, everybody's doing nails. Okay, what can you do differently with that to expand? Another example about Sonic for me, I was at Sonic with my aunt a couple months ago, and it was an incident where she wanted a burger, no veggies on it. And she said that. She's like, I would like a burger with no veggies. She's like, we don't have veggies.
See, they literally didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she was like, lettuce, tomatoes, onions.
Yes.
I had to tell them that.
And Kelsey makes a very good point that I really want to go back to.
Go ahead.
Because what she said is something that we deal with all the time, especially with this generation. I don't want to do that. And that is such, or it's so problematic.
Yes.
Because one of the things that even through the pandemic and young people have, they know their worth. I think without knowing and understanding the order of steps that we grew up in, I think this generation does not agree that there is an ordering of the steps. I can just jump into something. And if I don't like it,
I can jump
I
out.
don't want to do it. If that's against my worth, I'm not going to do that. When on jobs, we grew up going to jobs every day, and there are this ordering of the steps that you have to be able to go through. And that really is where your worth and your value is in being able to do that. So I think
I love that because it's also a transition. And I am one that definitely believe that you have to go and you have to have discipline. You have to have structure. You have to go on a job. Learn how to, because you can't be a leader if you've never followed.
Right.
And so one of the biggest things that I see that is problematic for the younger generation, they don't want to follow.
Yeah.
Well, not all of them, but a lot of them don't want to follow. And what they see on social media, they take it as fact.
Yes.
The worst part of that is, and I'm probably one of the biggest advocates for the younger generation.
Me too.
I would agree.
Yes.
But I want them to really stop looking there. Stop looking at this social media. You see the one, they're showing you what they want you to see.
Mhm.
They're showing you the big houses and the big cars, but they're not telling you that half of those are rented
Mhm.
for the moment, for the shot. Or, yeah, there are some out there that are making millions. And I'm not knocking that. But the problem is, are they able to manage what is happening with their money, with their business? Go and learn. When I first stepped out into my own business, 19 years ago, I made a lot of mistakes.
Right.
Even though I went through working for someone, business is not easy.
Mhm.
But you had the basics also too. You
Yeah,
know how to
'cause you
show
work-
up on work on time.
Time.
You know how to do all this.
Follow the
You know,
regs.
yeah.
But now, what I will say about this generation that I love
Yes.
is that they are risk
Takers,
takers.
yes.
They will step out there,
They are not
and
sitting in
they're
the
not
safe
they're
zone.
not
I don't know if we
afraid.
calling it stepping out on faith or not. But
Yeah,
they're
they
stepping
risk.
out.
Yeah, and they're not afraid. They're not afraid of making mistakes.
Mistakes, yes.
They're not.
That's
I think in terms of helping, how do we help them in showing them how you
pull all
refine
that
and
together.
how you pull it together,
Mhm.
whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you go onto somebody's job. I have lots of students who leave high school, and by the time I see them, maybe 2 years later, they might have been on 3 or 4 jobs, and we've got to help them be able to understand how to do that.
I'm just gonna say a little bit. I'm gonna try to say a little bit.
That's okay. Come on.
Because I love the newer generation, and what happened is that we stopped educating them. We stopped having. The school I went to here was MB Smiley, North Side, North Forest
That
ISD.
school don't exist anymore.
They took the school away, but however, this whole city is ran by graduates of that area. Okay. I say this because I'm talking about our people. I'm going there. They had the trade schools, okay, to where they learned how to do all these things. Now, those things don't exist. The only thing that really exists, and that's why they come out doing lashes, nails, and hair, is now just the beauty schools or the automotive schools. My brother, he's now got his bachelor's, but he came straight out of MB Smiley, trade in engineering. Okay, went straight on business, everything. He's much older than me. He's almost 65, something like that. He graduated in 80. He
graduated in 80.
I know he graduated before that. Look, I'm
75.
Jermaine graduated in 80, so he had to graduate. No, my oldest sister graduated in 75. He had to graduate by 78, 79, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, he came out with a trade of engineering.
Yeah, that was available in high school.
It was available,
Yes.
and they taught. Even when I was there, they taught us on the medical side. They taught us how to do these things. So if you chose to continue on and go to school to finish that up, or chose to have a business to finish that up, you were taught. They have taken those things away, just like they've taken prayer away.
Yeah.
They have taken those things away to cripple us and enslave our mind even more.
That's
the younger generation. That's another show.
Yeah, baby,
right.
You got a whole show right there.
Yeah.
A whole nother show. Because the younger generation is the way they are simply because they are reading more. They're looking at more on where we were before, which is called Wall Street, where we all had businesses.
That's what they technology
see. But they don't
really
know. And then this media, all this stuff, they don't know how to do it anymore because we stopped teaching it. Well, but I'm all for, and you're right, they're risk takers, and there's nobody feeding into the social security system because they don't want a job. And even if they go on a job, You're right.
Yeah.
I was one of those. I wasn't a gen. I'm not a gen. I'm a.
Gen
But
Z,
I
you're
was
not a
one.
Gen Z.
My mama put us on jobs. She had us at the Houston Post. I was like, Lord, I can't do this.
And that was a different
And they
time.
put me at
That was a different
Whataburger.
time, yeah.
But Tenny didn't last. Tenny did not last. I
Yeah.
said, you know what? I gotta go somewhere where I could
Yeah.
do what I like to do.
Right.
Well, I think that goes back to, and I hate when I get to this part of the show because I'm at the top of the hour, but gotta wrap it. No, you didn't do anything wrong. It goes back to us making sure that we
brought up something that we can
Mhm.
really go on about.
We have to make sure that we're not spending so much time as parents, as older adults, trying to be their friend
Come on now.
versus
What
trying
you
to
say?
be the parent.
Mhm.
You know, and we
My
have to
best friend, I'm
parent
not
our
your best
kids
friend.
at different. As they grow, you parent them a little different,
Mhm.
you know, but you still are times when you can pour into have a conversation with them. We have to say to our kids, even if they're going to be mad, you know what, baby, I'm not saying that you can't do that, but here's a little advice. Why don't you try this, and this? And if they take it, fine. They don't, fine. But we still need to not worry about being our children's friend.
And we don't expose them.
Yeah.
These young parents don't expose them. They just show them one way.
Yeah, I think the pandemic too. I think by, as Kelsey said, even young adults being at home, and I think how families were able to go through, and how young people were able to watch their parents handle this particular struggle can also have an impact too. I think how young people have seen their parents work. You know, my children have a certain amount of, you know, success. They're doing what they're doing, but I don't look at it as anything lofty because they're playing professional sports. They're going to work.
Yes.
And
it's
what
a
they have
job.
seen me do their
Go to work.
entire life is get up and go to work. So you know you got to get up and you got to go to work. And I think through the pandemic, you know, young people also were able to connect more on social media. They will talk to each other more than they will talk to us, because that's a great support system
for them.
And they all kind of think the same way. And so they rely on those conversations and on that support more than they do sometimes from adult. And I get that. Not that it's right or wrong, but I know that is a huge thing.
But the main part, a lot of them can hear
Absolutely.
better outside.
Absolutely.
Of the home.
Absolutely.
But we want to thank y'all for being on the show
Thank
today.
you
Thank
for
y'all
having
for coming
us.
on.
Thank you.
But we at that point where we have to start closing down the
There
show.
you go.
And so as your co-host, I have to just jump in and make sure we stay on task.
Well,
All good things come to an end.
Good things has come to an end. I am just so grateful for you guys, as we're going to go around as we always do. And we want you guys to give us a brief of your experience on the show and what you're going to walk away, and tell the people what you're doing and how they can find you if you have a particular something going on in your life right now that you want to share.
Okay.
And the first person I'm going to start with over here is Miss, oh God, I'm horrible. Give me that name. Tenny. I was going to tear it up. I'm always tearing it up. Miss Tenny, can you tell the people your experience here on the show and what did you get out of it?
It was a great experience, and it's I love to collaborate and see what other people's opinions are, and be able to share. So overall, it was a great experience. I may seem talkative, but I'm not a really talkative person.
You done fooled the hell out of me.
But when you hit it, you know that's when that person come out.
Yes.
So when it's something touchy, like talking about our young people and something personal that hit home, I do have a lot to share, and I that part I try to bring it out.
So in closing, what would you say to the people about the show? What would you say to give them a lasting memory of
a lasting memory.
Yes, ma'am.
I've listened to the show. I see that it's very informative and it's very educational. So if you are thinking and knowing that something is going on, I think if you chime in, you don't know what you're gonna get.
Right.
So like last week, I think I was last week I was on, and I love what you all was talking about on last week as well. So I learned from it, and I want people to learn from it, not just to say, okay, get on here because Kelsey is on here, or get on here because Tina is on here, or get on here because I want to call her Dr. Kim on here. So anyway, I want you all to know that you get on here to learn and to stretch your knowing and your understanding. So I did get that from this show. But, a little bit by me. I'm Tenny Lyons. Independent contractor as far as nursing, as well as a financial independent contractor as well. If you like, you can reach me at 832-773-3248. I reach out. I help clients get their financial situations back in order in all ways of life. Whatever you want, I've got it. And also in the nursing realm, I'm a contractor, okay? So I work for Tenny.
Okay.
So if you need me, I do a lot of volunteering. I also do stuff for I'm not cheap, but I do a lot. But anyway, that's how you can reach
that
me.
number one more time.
It's 832-773-3248, and my community or my mostly clientele is in this area, which is Northeast Houston.
All righty
That's
then.
Miss Tenny Lyons.
Tenny Lyons.
That's Penny with a penny with a T in front.
And an IE on the end.
Yeah. We're not talking about the penny, the corn. We're talking about the name Penny. So Penny is with an IE at the end. The name Penny.
Yeah, the name Penny is with the IE.
So that's Tenny with the T in front.
There you go.
All right. Let's go, Miss Kim.
All right. I think one of the things I want to say is, as always, it's a pleasure to be with you too. Having grown up with you, I am always excited and overjoyed when I see this show, because it is certainly a testament to how much both of you have grown. And this is a wonderful platform that you have here. And I encourage everybody to listen. You have lots of things going on, and all of them are positive things that you're doing, not only business wise, but in the community and serving others as well. So that's a testament to the two of you. I'm an educator. One of the things that I really have been involved with lately is working with young people who want to go to college and helping parents understand how to take their students through the college application process. Which can be very overwhelming. And so I am on social media platforms under Kim C. Will, KIMCWILL, and that is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You'll probably see me and my children and a lot of the things that we are kind of involved in. But you can reach me through my instant messaging and my inbox and my DMs. I usually don't give out my personal cell phone. I don't want to overwhelm anybody and folks be, blowing up my phone. So I can slide in my DMs. So I can vet out who it is that I'm talking to. But it certainly has. It's been a pleasure being here this morning with everybody.
Well, God bless you both, man. We enjoyed having you on the show.
And before we go, Miss Kelsey, and then if you could read this last comment that's just popped up, and then go ahead and give your closing.
Okay, from Shanae Young, she said, there's so much thought put into being a business owner and creating a brand, but we've lost sight of core values such as strong work ethic, good customer service, etc.
Yes.
And Ursula Brown also said, you go, Brother Carter, and you're calling that.
Kanye, you're going to have to do a commercial.
We're going to do a commercial. You're going to
be a brand ambassador, bro. That sales just went up.
Okay.
And Kelsey, what did you get out of the show, and anything you want to leave the people with?
I got a lot of knowledge out of this show. Thank you both for coming in. I really appreciate you both. And thank you, Miss Teeny. I really appreciate you. You always help me out school-wise. Gave my first car. All the above. Thank you so much.
Good job.
And Brother Carter.
What? Oh,
Jesus.
I'm gonna just leave you with this.
Oh, you got a word.
Mhm.
Put your glasses on, Lord.
There you go.
Okay.
And in times like this, we need a scripture that we can grab and hold to. And we have a lot going on in this world today. And so Paul said in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 8 and 9, he said, we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but we're not destroyed. So stay up.
There you go.
Amen.
Amen. And I want to say thank you to my wonderful, wonderful guests. I know that it is early to get up and come. And thank you for just sharing and being so transparent with the people on the radio, our listeners, and for me. And Brother Carter, we are honored to have you here. I want to say a special thank you this morning to Miss Kelsey. Kelsey, you continue to amaze me. And I don't like to get on this horn that all young people are not doing well. You're a prime example of excellence in your generation and what is to come. You keep on doing what you're doing. It's more Kelseys out there. You keep on doing what you're doing. You keep on standing up and showing up every day, and watch what God is going to do in your life. To your parents, I'm not done, baby. To your parents, they have done an amazing job with you. I know what she do behind the scenes for me. And just thank you, because I'm going to get full here. To all of the listeners, to Raise the Praise 100, God just continues to show that if you just trust him and you walk and you stand and you wait and you listen, he can do things far more than you can ever imagine. Those that know me, these two people know me better than anybody. They know where I was, and it's definitely not where I am. And for sure ain't where I'm going. So I'm going to leave y'all with this. This is what I got out of the show today. Change is going to happen. You know, things are going to happen in our lives that's going to stop, going to put us to a pause. But let's have a conversation. Let's, when you stop, just don't get stuck. Figure out a way and keep pushing. Check in on your friends. Respect those that are not willing to do what you want them to do. And to you, Tenny, you taught me something. I may not have agreed with everything that you said, but you said something that's so important. And what you said is that we need to have you don't have to tell me why you're not vaccinated. It's none of your business. But I appreciate you protecting me with your mask.
Absolutely.
And so understand that when you're wearing a mask, you're wearing a mask to protect the others. And that in itself deserves respect.
Amen.
And you find us on LV with Val. Just chime in and thank you guys. And until next Saturday.
Before we disappear,
we got something going on. Next Saturday.
Yeah, next Saturday. Go ahead. Hurry up, real quick.
Who the host?
You go up.
Okay.
We got to get ready for Ike Mike show.
Okay. Next Saturday we're on. Okay.
We're on next Saturday.
Yeah. So until then, thank y'all for listening. We gotta go.
Bye.
Those of you on Raise the Praise 100, stay tuned, because Ike on the mic is coming up next, and he with the Save and Silly show. So y'all stay tuned.
Thank you, baby.
Amen.
Good looking out.
Let's go. God bless y'all.